Hi YouTube, welcome to Shimmergirltalks. Today's topic is the son husband. I remember many moons ago when I used to be on this platform called Topics. T as in Tom, O, P as in Paul, I, X. And they don't exist anymore to my knowledge. And so you're looking at a good, I would say it was at least 10 years ago, I made this comment about many Black women view their sons as surrogate husbands. And I remember this person going off on me for saying that. So, about a week ago, I was home from work, and What's Happening happened to be on. I don't know if you guys remember that show from the 70s, but I loved it back then. One thing that I would like to say is I despise the whole missing father trope. Now, back then, when I was a kid, ironically enough, I grew up, with a missing father, but it wasn't necessarily his fault. But that's another topic. My father died in 1977, and I did not know about him until about 1995, maybe 1991, maybe, I don't know. But that's another topic. And something that I hate, when women deny their children their father because they're mad at the father. But again, that's another topic for another day. But needless to say, I despise the whole missing father trope. And right now, I'm actually watching this TV show. I'm not going to name it. It's based on a true story. I don't really care for the whole, racism, type tropes either in TV shows. But this one TV show that I'm currently watching, it's called City on the Hill, if you want to check it out. And there's this Black woman, she's an activist in her community. And it's the age old stereotype, in the projects, she's raising two sons by herself, no husband, no father for them. I hate that. I'm just going to be honest. I despise it. So anyway, so I was watching Good Times literally about a week ago. And I don't typically watch it, but if I'm home bored, and I might look at it for nostalgia's sake. So it was the episode called The Border. And I don't think you can find it on YouTube, but you can find it on Tubi, T as in Tom, U, B as in boy, I. And the gist of that episode was Dee and Roger's father comes back into their life. They needed help with plumbing or something like that. So they called their dad, which, shocker, who else would you call? And if you have a father, you call your daddy. So they called him. And so the father, decides that he's down on his luck so he can kind of come back home to, tend to his children and his ex-wife, who is, their mother. So Raj, who is the oldest boy, the oldest son, sees that his mother is falling for his father again. And so Raj ends up finding out, that his father really isn't down on his luck. And he was only, using that as a ploy, just to be close to his children and his ex-wife. So let me fast forward. So when Raj finds that out, he basically tells his father, you know what, I don't want you coming back, bothering my mother. If you're not going to stay here, I don't want her hurt and stuff like that. So Raj goes out and he gets a job. And so at some point, it's towards the end of the episode. Again, the episode is called The Border, if you want to check it out. And it's the reason why I'm bringing this up. And at one point, Raj goes, he's talking to his mother. He said, you know what, I got a job. I got to help out the family. And, his mother was about to say something. He was like, damn it, I'm the man of this house. And, everybody's like, and so At the very end, before it goes off, Raj and his mother kisses on the mouth. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because uh, a few videos back that I did, I was talking about subliminal messages, particularly directed at us as a community. Now, what some of us may not know, people of other races, people in Hollywood and stuff like that, they know how to read a room, so to speak. They know how psychology works. And they also know, and it was a study on this. I read the study a long time ago. You can look it up. It was a long time ago. I don't know if it can even be found, but it was said that the Black community is highly influenced by trends, things that we see on TV, by celebrities and stuff like that. So for me, there is no secret that this particular show will have this son saying that he's the man of the house and he's kissing his mother in her mouth. And I know there are some parents and children that kiss on the mouth and stuff like that. But I felt like that was a subliminal message. And I'm asking some of you to show me a white show during that time period where you saw a white male put his foot down and say he's the man of the house and kiss his mother on the mouth. I'll wait. Show me, tell me an episode of any show back then that did that. There is this push, as I've said in the previous video, that that encourages Black women to just be single and all about their children and stuff like that. I don't think that it shouldn't be a shock that is still heavily promoted today. And I think that's one reason why you have so many Black women that see absolutely nothing wrong with having children, but a husband. So he could push me around and I got to submit to him. There's no secret that we have swallowed this narrative and we're consistently running with it. So I had to make notes. So there was this other YouTuber that I used to watch all the time. He's kind of missing in action right now. I'm not going to name his name, but he said one day that a lot of Black women dress their sons like the men that they would, want in their lives, whatever that means. Maybe he was talking about the pants off the butt and the Timberland boots and, whatever. But I also would like to say that this is literally not unique to Black women and Black sons, because I can tell you other race women tend to put their sons on pedestals as well. They do. And I can't remember who said this, but it might have been Malcolm X or somebody, but he basically said, like, when other cultures, I think he was talking about mainly white people, when white people are sick, we're even sicker. That's not verbatim, but when things happen in other cultures, it affects us even worse. So yes, you have a lot of white mothers and women of other cultures who baby their sons, coddle their sons, all of that. That happens. I'm telling you, it happens in other cultures too. But those other cultures tend to have other things that kind of keeps them afloat. They're still pro-marriage a lot of times. They still have, different avenues and other people within their communities that they can kind of go to and look up to and stuff like that. Whereas in our community, the Black women are getting the message of be independent by yourself. You don't need a man, and that has a trickle down effect. And, we see that in our communities that are falling apart and not being built up, in the crimes and, and so many young Black men dying at the hands of other Black men. All of this was instrumental. And it's unfortunate that we as a community look to entertainers as our influencers on how to live life. And I think that there was another study that showed that people of other races tend to look at people within their culture, within their race, as influenced, to be influenced by doctors, lawyers, teachers, the police. Those are all viable options that keeps your community afloat. But then within our community, a lot of times, not all the time, just making a generalization, you have so many, young Black men in particular who are aspiring to be the next famous rapper and athlete and stuff like that. But it's hard to break into the entertainment industry. It's hard to become an athlete. No one is encouraging, really young Black males to be a doctor, lawyer, or teacher, stuff like that. And every now and then you'll see on Facebook, young Black men defying the odds by becoming a teacher and having his male students come to class in a suit and showing them how to put on a suit. But that should be the exception. That should be the rule, not the exception. So I just wanted to talk briefly about the whole husband son scenario. But like I said, it doesn't just happen in our community. It just affects our community much worse because you do have, such a low marriage rate, because a lot of times, because even in those other cultures where there is a husband present, the mother still tends to kind of have a chokehold on her son. It does happen. But when you look at our community, it's so much brokenness and, and stuff like that. So when it does happen, like a lot of times, these mothers are not raising their sons to be viable husbands or fathers for the next generation. And I mentioned that in a previous video when I said, there was this meme that I saw online that you as a mother, you're raising somebody's husband. You're raising somebody's father, and that's the memo that our community doesn't seem to get. So there is a lot of just disenfranchisement. I don't know if I said that right, out in our communities and stuff like that. But I thought the husband son was an interesting topic because it does go on in our community. And, and I remember seeing on, I think it was like Phil Donahue. Yeah, that's how old I am. Phil Donahue. He was the popular one back in the day. And it was this lady, a Black lady, who stood up in the audience and she said something about we raise our daughters and we coddle our sons. And that is very true. One thing that I've noticed is, and I've seen this in real life too, Black women teach and encourage their daughters to be strong and independent, but they kind of coddle their sons when it should literally be the opposite. It should be, the other way around. And the reason why this is so detrimental to us is because a lot of times it's just the mother as the influencer. A lot of times the father isn't there, because if you also notice in homes where there's a two-parent household, the father tends to favor and kind of spoil his daughter as the princess or whatever. And then he's kind of harsh on the son, but then the mother is harsh on the daughter and she coddles the son. So that's why it's important to have two parents in the household, But that was my topic for today. Please subscribe, comment, like it. But as always, I always say, check out my other videos. Make sure we vibe. Make sure we are here before you subscribe. And I will talk to you later. Bye.